Hello, I'm David D. Hilster. I am a critical thinker, dissident scientist, and I'm here to tell you the truth about science, something your university professors won't tell you, the mass media won't tell you, and certainly the science evangelists won't tell you. Well, on Facebook, I see these t-shirts pop up all the time. It is from the Neil deGrasse Tyson's fan club, I guess, but it's sponsored, and I don't understand that. Somehow, Neil deGrasse Tyson has fan clubs that need to raise money for themselves? I don't think so. This is I will bet $1,000 this is run by Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson himself. Sometimes that ego is so big you just gotta do these kinds of things. But this t-shirt gets to me immensely because it tells you something very important about mainstream science. And that is, they play a game to make you try to think you can't understand their theories because either you're not smart enough or it's too complicated for you to ever understand. And this is how they do it. This is a way they tell you that to your face. Let's read the t-shirt. The universe is under no obligation to make sense to you. That's not true. The universe doesn't care about anybody's theory. And what this sort of implies is the universe doesn't make sense to us. It doesn't make sense to us when we can't explain it. Let's really change this t-shirt to what it should read, and I'll explain to you why. It should read, theoretical physics is under no obligation to make sense to you. That's true. Particle physics is under no obligation to make sense to you. That's also true. Plate tectonics is under no obligation to make sense to you. Very true. The Big Bang is under no obligation to make sense to you. Also very true. And relativity is not out of it. Relativity is under no obligation to make sense to you. Why? Why am I saying that? Because this is the game the physics mainstream plays with us. They play the same game that the politicians play with us. And that is, oh, you want to know why we don't raise the minimum wage? Well, it's really complicated. And you really have to understand this and study it and read these documents that are mile high. And you have to trust us. That's what they're saying. No, it's not complicated. Raise the minimum wage like they did in Washington State. And the economy's booming there now. It's 2% unemployment. People aren't shutting down. They can't get enough workers. But see, they don't want you to know that because they want their power. They want their money. The physicists and the physics evangelists want their money. And like Margaret Wortham, who was the author of Physics on the Fringe, said about our group, the John Chappell Natural Philosophy Society, is that we enjoy science a lot, but we're not smart enough to understand the complexities of the universe. It doesn't make sense to us, so we build our little models, and we have our little conferences, and we talk. And the problem really is we don't explain it well to them, because the universe is under no obligation to make sense to these people. The problem is physics, particle physics, the Big Bang, relativity, plate tectonics. All of those things don't make sense because when you turn on your critical thinking cap, they're illogical. They're impossible to understand because they have paradoxes in them that are impossible to solve. And we in our group, and many people who are in our group or who are doing things like our group, for decades have been unraveling these problems and starting to solve them. It's not that we can't understand them. Margaret Wortham is wrong. She and everyone else uses the idea that the universe is really complicated. No, physics theories are complicated and they're full of paradoxes and people will not let go of them. I don't know why. Because if they did, then maybe what they're saying will be wrong, and their 30 years of studying black holes are for naught. All that stuff they learned about plate tectonics is not. The Earth is really expanding. Expansion tectonics is correct. And the Earth is gaining mass, and that's a subatomic problem. So all these people who say these physics theories, and I say, is they're under no obligation to make sense to you. Yes, they are. Physics theories and models are in the absolute obligation to make sense to you and everyone. Why have it? If the universe is doing something weird we don't understand, we should see if our models can explain it, and those models should be very clear and not have paradoxes. But this t-shirt shows you, this is like the man putting you under the thumb. The universe is under no obligation to make sense to you. Our theories are under no obligation to make sense to you, little boy, little girl, little people. You're not smart enough. So you got to go to college and pretend to understand paradoxes that don't make sense. That's what I've been saying since I made my film Einstein Wrong. People, it's not that things are hard for us to understand, these theories. They're impossible to understand. When you have paradoxes, those are impossible models and theories. So, are there new models out there that don't have this? Yep. But I just want to remind you, and listen to what I say, because I'm here to teach you to be a critical thinker. When you see this, this is a lie. They need to put their theories up there, not the universe. Then that t-shirt, I'll buy it and I'll wear it proudly. This one, not even dead will you find me in this t-shirt. So Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson fans, which is really Neil himself, because someone's paying for this ad, you science evangelists literally are putting yourself on a pedestal. Why do you think they call them evangelists? I have an importance that you do not. Well, Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, your ego has gotten away from you, and certainly truth in science doesn't exist. Truth in science, you dictate. You are a science dictator. Called you worse. So remember, folks, like I always say, don't take what anyone says on faith. Even if it's on a t-shirt, stay critical, stay thinking. I'm David D. Hilster, your science therapist. I'm teaching you. You're going to get the hang of it. And when this t-shirts come up on Facebook, you're going to remember me. Probably hate me. Go, David, I used to like those. Now I see your point. I hope so. Ciao for now.